Hey everybody, it's Lewis Porter Jr. Just getting everything set and ready. Everything's playing right. That's good. That's good. I do appreciate when things are working correctly in my little world. So today it's August the 23rd. 3 more days to my birthday. Anybody thinking about a present for me? You know, I like cash. Let's not kid anybody. I like cash. I'm a fan of cash. Cash is a good friend of mine. I'm a friend of it. Let's do some stuff together. Let's have a little date. Cash money. I like it, I don't care if nickels, pennies, it doesn't matter to me. It's all the same. So I don't care anybody says like, don't you care about getting presents? I'm like, hey, I'm healthy. I made it to 46. I'm not dying anything. I don't have any major aches and pains. I'm pretty good. I shoot very level. I'm like, hey man, as long as I'm healthy, knock on wood, I'm good. So there you go. That's how I feel about that. So just remember, going out a present or a card. I appreciate cards too. A lot of people don't appreciate cards for their birthday. I'm very thankful for cards because you could be doing anything else with your money, and even a card, even a nice "Hey, happy birthday." I appreciate that. That's it is very important to me. People don't realize that, but I am very appreciative of that. So, what other fun stuff is going on? I'm afraid to ask what this is. Okay, I like that. So today we're going to talk about, of course, it is Tuesday. So we're going to talk about, publisher breakdown. And I kept thinking, third-party publisher breakdown, who would I like to do? And then I really thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I know a third-party guy who does lots of third-party work, is well-respected. And a lot of people have talked about how impressive a third-party they are. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do Paizo. And some people are like, what are you talking about? Paizo's not third-party. And it's like, yeah, dude, Paizo is very third-party. Paizo came out of third-party more than most companies come out of third-party. I mean, they supported 3.5 for a very long time. They developed that. Let me give the short story too, because I know this is kind of, I've heard bits and pieces. I've put some stuff together that I figured out, and this kind of makes the most logical sense, at least to me. So Paizo back in the day was doing stuff for, of course, WotC, Dragon Magazine, and they were developing stuff, and Dragon. Well, WotC was going to go to 4E. And this is like before they're going 4E. So Paizo had that moment of decision of what are we going to do? Are we going to stick with them and go to 4E? Or are we going to, take a chance to do something different? And, Paizo, and I think everybody was in the same thing. The GSL at the time, though, was taking so long to get out, and so many people were trying to get to it, and it was China. It was a big issue. So people weren't sure what was going on, how to handle it. So, I think they took a lot of, they made a lot of good choices, I think, in the long run. Hey, Abel. Hey, Ronald. Hey, Yashika. Hey, JP. Also, JP, a good friend of ours, always. Congratulations on your new position. I'm going to be asking you some dumb questions about mobile programming and stuff like that, so don't be surprised. Of course. So, Paizo, developed Pathfinder out of 3.5. And of course, that literally, made them a third-party publisher. I mean, the OGL is open content. They just made Pathfinder out of it, and still, it's open content like it was. And I just think it is a nice, it's a nice way to say they evolved the game. But still, it's OGL material. That's where it came from. So yes, they are a third party. They're like any other third party. They're just a third party who's done very, very well for themselves financially. They got a market. They got into a market that people were interested in playing in. People enjoyed. They did a play test. Hey, Randy. They did a play test that most people had never seen at that level. People got the rules. They saw things they liked. They saw things they didn't. They got feedback. It came back around. They did another one, got feedback, cleaned it up, and then they produced what you see today. And, people are always like, oh, Pathfinder's dead. They're going to do this stuff. Look, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff about Pathfinder, some positives and some negatives, because, for every positive, there's a negative. But I think, as a company, as a smart company, Paizo's done a lot of smart things that were very good on the short term and semi-long term. So, but as always, there are mistakes that have been made. So let's talk about it all. Let's be fair. We want to talk about everything, because that's what we do. We talk about everything, give a nice whole opinion of it. So Paizo as a company is done something that I, as a publisher, am a big fan of, and I think is a better long-term project. Even though it does cause some retail issues, Paizo pretty much focused on, which I thought was very, very smart, was getting into getting people subscribed to their product and getting it to them. as soon as possible. I think that was one of the strongest points that Paizo did as a company. I think as a long-term solution to deal with a lot of problems of who's going to carry us, they crushed that. They just crushed it. They said, look, we're going to go directly to the customer. Now, that being said, that causes problems in retail. It always has and it always will, because retailers, of course, want to make money off the product they sell to you, and it's a good deal. I get it. It's not a problem. I don't have a problem with it per se. I do have issues with thinking that some retailers believe, those are my customers, and people have always said that, my customer, your customer. I'm simple, man. It's like if it's not anybody's customer, whoever services the customer, that's who the real customer is. So, that's just me. That's how I feel about that part. Hold on, I'm putting the live streaming YouTube link in here, so you all, just in case you want to look on YouTube. I was like the business for people who are interested. So back to the whole theory. So these guys are doing their best to get the fans into supporting them from the beginning. And once doing that from the beginning, it gives them a lot of advantages and gives them a lot of strength a lot of people, didn't expect. And it was a very smart choice. They also started selling product online directly at their website. Another smart choice for the long term. And they did everything, I think, logically as to expand it as quickly as possible. And another piece they did was PFS, Pathfinder Society. That made another long-term piece to make, generate money for a long-term and generate a fan base. And that's smart. That was a very smart piece. I remember when JP used to always yell about me, says, you've got to get people playing your game. The more people play your game, the more odds you'll have people spending money with you and staying with you as long term. And that's something that, he taught me about when we were doing stuff for New Exodus. And I think it was totally right. I mean, obviously that was my, when he went off to do his own thing, that was always my biggest regrets, because I knew he understood living campaigns, I think better than most people, on creating them, supporting them, and keeping them running a very, very long time, and what worked and what didn't work. And I've seen what he's done on his own, so I know it's a solid idea. So it definitely works. It's definitely exactly where it needs to be. So I think Paizo has focused on that. They've developed that, and that has only been a helpful thing for themselves. Gotta get my drink. What's up, Jason? So that's how I see, Paizo as a whole. Definitely third party, definitely someone who's come after the fact, but they had a lot of advantages, that helped them out, which is good. But at the same time, it's like, okay, here's some problems. Well, let's talk about the problems. Number one, they have hitched themselves to the OGL. So for good or bad, depending how you feel, if you didn't like OGL, you didn't like 3.5, you weren't going to like this. There might have been some changes that made better, but the majority of people who didn't like it, and they didn't like it. Number two, they weren't D&D. Pathfinder is not D&D. Pathfinder is Pathfinder. There are differences in play styles. Some people complain, oh, there's too many rules. Well, let's not kid anybody. We play a game system that's always had a lot of rules. This is nothing new. This is not a big surprise. We all know that. It's got a lot of rules, a lot of math. You better learn your math. You better learn how to do some rules. And there's a lot of people who are min-maxing out there. So, it is what it is. Just accept it, and let's just keep that moving. I'm not gonna get into that whole debate of, oh, is this better? Is that better? What's better? Whatever you like and play. That's what's better. I like Pathfinder. Some people like 5e. Knock yourself out. As long as we have fun, that's what's important. So that's where that part is. Now, on top of that, I want to say, I don't want to talk about the bad. I don't talk about the bad stuff first. All right, I'm talking about the bad stuff. All right. Here's another problem I've noticed with Paizo that irks me as a customer of Paizo, and this is something that I think is a long-term problem that's carried over from WotC and do you think Bloatbook? Randy, I'm about to talk about that right now. That's a release of so much product. I think Paizo puts out way too much product than it needs to. I think Paizo does not have to have a release. I mean, if you look for any given month, you're talking about 4 to 5 releases per month. And even, they're in various price range. And the big books, the big thick books come out, once a quarter or once every 4 months, but 3 books a year. That's not a big deal, but you shouldn't be releasing like 4 or 5 small books per month. You don't have to. I don't think, and let me phrase that. I'm saying they don't have to because I think there's ways that you can still sell a larger amount to more people if you give them more options. It's like, look, I have, if anybody normally, or I'll just say most people have like 40 bucks to spend a month on role playing. So you're going to pick and choose what you want. And certain stuff, if I can get as PDF, I'll get as PDF. And I think that is kind of a good option also for them. And they do that. They give you the option, you can get a PDF or you can get the book. But I don't think you need that many books. I think if they cut down to like, instead of from 4 to 5 to 2, to 1 or 2 a month, I'm talking, it's like, look, we're going to do Adventure Path. Definitely. That's number 1. And then maybe another book. And that's it. I think the levels will change in sales. And because look, there's so much product coming out. There's so many people are going to buy stuff, but it's going to come to a point where you're just like, there's too much stuff. I don't need all this stuff. I've got more product than I ever need. I mean, look on my bookshelf right now. Let me read down. I got every major big book. I think I have every major big book they put out. I was going to buy that anyway. I'm a publisher. That's what I do. But then when it comes to the other stuff, I'm picking and choosing specifically what I want. And for some of the stuff, it's cheap. $15. It's not going to kill me. But some stuff I was like, wow, that's kind of expensive. I mean, like I said, it's just, you have a $20 Adventure Path every month that comes out. That's $20 right there. Pop. Another $20, $40. Okay. Let's, $40 a month. Not a lot of money if this was my only hobby. Hey, David, what's going on? If I had other hobbies, which I do, like comic books, $40, that's $80. Okay, it's not a lot of money, but it is. Because it's like $80. Then you start thinking about what other things I want to be able to say $80. So it's, I know they're trying to compete for the same amount of money that everyone's trying to compete with. I just think that if they could slow that part down, I think it'd be helpful in the long run, because it gets to a point of, even with Starfinder coming out, this is something that always terrified me about Starfinder coming out. This is my biggest fear. No joke. I think a lot of people will be surprised. I hearken back to when Deadlands, I can write the notes for that, when Deadlands was created. And Deadlands was a great game. I still think one of the best Western ideas ever done. I've always loved that game. I think that Shane Hensley did an awesome job, and then Matt Forbeck did an awesome job. I think Deadlands is great. I think the thing that helped kill Deadlands is when they did a post-apocalyptic world and they did a future world, and they weren't distinctive enough away from the main product. So basically, you went from having, hey, I got to buy 1 line to enjoy, to now I'm buying 3 lines. And the people didn't have all that money to do that. That's the thing I fear. I'm not going to lie. I fear with Starfinder that it's going to have that same kind of problem. There has to be a way to differentiate Starfinder from Pathfinder to a point where people like me will be like, okay, Starfinder is like D20 Modern, I'll use that reference, and the content in there is just used for that one book. You're gonna make this one book for D20 Modern. We're gonna support it with a monster book like D20 Modern did, and some firearms, and and that's it. That's all you're gonna get. And then we're gonna go back focusing on this. So if you guys want to make third-party stuff and support it, you can. Now, for third party, that would be great for us. Because I mean, let's just call it like it is. I know I'd be making products. I know Owen's gonna be making products. I know guys at Legendary Games will be making products. I know Dream Squad Press will probably most likely be products. And a lot of the other third-party guys will jump in and say, "Ooh, this is cool." I think that's a great idea for them. I don't think that Paizo should try to create another line so close to the line already, the premier line. I think there needs to be more of a schism. I think the break has to be so severe. Like if they're doing fantasy with Pathfinder, they do another fantasy setting that has nothing to do with Pathfinder, nothing at all. It's like it's a different type of fantasy. It's radically different. That's the only way I think would help them. So you have one people liking this and one people liking this. And it has to be that kind of split. Because now, if you don't, you're going to have people trying to buy even more content and more stuff. And, it gets to a point where like, oh, I can't do any more rules. I can't do any more books. I can't, there's so much stuff. You need a computer to help figure your stuff out and making your characters. But, some people are min-maxing stuff. But I think that's also another problem, too. You need to change how you play. I think playability needs to change. And I have believed this, and I still believe this, and I still think, I think it would help in a different kind of way. But if you're going to do how Pathfinder is kind of set up with all these books and rules, you should do PvP. For people who don't know, player versus player combat. I think PvP would actually kind of help them. There are people who want a PvP. And I get why you don't want to do it. I totally understand why you don't want to do it. I understand why Paizo says no, that's really not our focus. But that being said, I think PvP feeds that need for people who just want to fight. And there's some people who roleplay just want to kill monster, get treasure. That's all they want to do. So PvP could be that kind of substitute for that. I think PvP done well could be an awesome little spin-off for them. Because let's be honest. Yes, people want to play the adventure, but there's some moments you just want to let's just do a grindy dungeon. We're going to go down, we're going to grind it out, we're going to attack and kill things, and that's all we're going to do. It's not going to be no highbrow, none of this super duper thinking, and maybe just do one book on that. One book. Here's the content to if you want to do PvP. Boom. Here's the book we're going to do, and you do it, and you put it out there, and you fire it away, and then maybe you have third party guys support the content, and then maybe at big shows you have the event. This person versus that person, to that death or to the winner and an award and the whole deal. And you run it like that. I'd always thought that'd be a cool idea, and they could tie it in even with like guys at Reaper. So like you come to play. Here's my theory. You're gonna come and play in this big event. They have miniatures for you. The miniatures are cheap. I'm not gonna say not $5 miniatures. We're making like $2 miniatures that you can buy on the spot. You can play and have a good time. And this is why. So you're playing your character. You got your miniature. You're playing PvP. If you kill someone, incapacitate to stop them, boom. Not only do you kill the character and get the props from that, you take the mini from them. You kill them, you keep. Whatever you kill, you keep. That's how it works. And people are like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. For $2 a mini, you do it. You wouldn't even think hard. You'd be like, yeah, put $2. Oh, I love because somebody's gonna have like 40 miniatures. And you're gonna see that guy and be like, I got 40 miniatures, I've killed all these people. My guy's still alive. How awesome. That alone gives you a great kind of a conflict, and I think personally, it'd be kind of cool. But the price of the minis is the big thing. Anything you kill, you keep. I think that's a cool mentality for it. I think people will take it a little more serious. It's kind of a way to get professional gamers into it. It's not in the sense professional, but people who want to play aggressively. Be quiet, little stupid thing. I think that would be a great little spin on things. I don't think most people have ever done that. I've wanted to put something like that together. I know there was Conflict for Pathfinder that came out. Who made Conflict? Oof, I don't know. Does anybody who made Conflict before I can type it in? But I don't know if you can. Pathfinder Conflict PvP. I know it came out. There it is. Conflict Games, of course. It came out. I think they supported it for a little bit, and I assume they went out of business. I don't know if they have or not. I can't, say for sure. But I know. Let me phrase it. I don't think they came out with any more products for it. They might have done other stuff. Oh yeah, they're the guys who did the description cards. Butterfly. They did these description cards, but their Conflict game, came out with. They made it, and they didn't really support it. Or let me phrase it. They didn't support it at a level I thought it could have been supported. So. I think it could have been supported better, and I think this could have been someone could easily, if they put it a lot of its OGL, which I don't know if it is or not. I have to check and find out. If someone could take those rules, build a whole thing for people, and it's like, look, here's PvP, here's PvP combat. This is how you build your characters. This is how we know you're not cheating. There's rules in place, and then you let them play. Let people play. People are going to play anyway, man. People are going to play, and they want to do that because people want to win. They want to say, I beat so-and-so and such and such. And if you develop, locations that are just as dangerous as, look, the characters are dangerous you're fighting against, but the environment also is dangerous. That could put a different spin on things. So I just think that's another way to push it. Randy said, I know it's controversial, but I would like to see lawful evil allowed in organized play. I get why it's controversial, and it will be controversial. Let's not kid anybody. But, maybe you do one-offs like that, or you put special sessions like that, or you try stuff like that. I think that actually, let's see how it works out. It may not be something long-term you want to do. You try it once in a while, at this event, at this major event, like either, Gen Con or Origins or PAX. It's like, we're going to do a big event. We're going to try this lawfully with this. Try it. see what people say, see how they like it. That can only help you in the long run. So, I would love to see Paizo take some more chances with things. I think they played it very safe because they have to. But at the same time, I think, because of what they are, they have to give you the kind of generic setting, here's a genetic hearing, here's where it's pretty common, here's the stuff that you expect that you see in typical fantasy, and they can't do really crazy stuff because they're not supposed to, and that's kind of what they're there for. At the same time, they're trying to produce their IP and expand it, and I think they've done a good job of that. I think they've done that, especially with books. I think their book line was a smart idea. I think the ebook line was a brilliant idea. Put free stuff online for you to read. You'll like it. We'll collect it as an ebook and sell the ebook. If you like it a lot, we'll hire the guy and they'll do a book for us. It's a nice progression. We each have to do the same thing. That's how we got Eric Scott Eric Scott DeBee to work for us. Very much the same thing. He was, I thought he was a good writer. I thought he would be a cool guy. I didn't know if he'd be interested in working with us, and he said sure. And he put together a really great ebook we did for our first one. I know he's developing another one. I still got to get in touch with him about that. Once I get these other products out from Kickstarter, that's my big thing. Once this Kickstarter stuff's done, I'd like to go back and do that because that excites me. That excites me as the publisher. What do I want to see? What I want people to enjoy. I want people to enjoy that kind of stuff. So there you go. It's like I said, it's an interesting little world we live in as creative people. I think Paizo has done everything possible to make it good. And once again, they have played it safe for the right reasons. I do agree playing it safe is sometimes a good idea, but sometimes you got to go a little wild. But things that they've definitely done right. The subscription base, smart idea. The involvement online has been amazing. I think their online involvement, they're very much talking to people online, getting stuff, and it's very like, wow, that's kind of cool. How much you can go online, you can talk Eric Mona, you can talk to Eric Mona online. Hey Eric, I got a question. He'll answer. He's pretty, I'm not gonna say he's gonna do every question, but he's at least answers and will comment. And that's a lot of companies don't do that. A lot of companies separate themselves from the people who use your product. They're like, oh, I just want you to use my thing, but I want you to talk to me. I think it's retarded. How are you gonna not want to talk to someone? That's just foolishness to me. But yeah, I don't understand it. I don't get it. We're online. I want you to talk. I want you to ask me questions. I may not know the answer, but I will get someone in my company to go answer that question for me because I don't know what the answer is. It's very possible. That's what you do. I think Paizo's always been about being very, very open and friendly with people in general. And then add on top of that, their relationship with third party. I think their relationship with third party is probably the best relationship I've ever seen from any company. I mean, look, Paizo doesn't have to be nice to us. Paizo doesn't have to be nice to me. Look, I'm controversial. I've said things about Paizo. I've said things about the staff. I've said things about, I'll say one of the most controversial things I've always said. I don't want to work for Paizo. I don't have a desire to work for Paizo. That does not excite me. There are tons of people who are out there who would be like, I would cut my hand off to work for Paizo. I am not one of those people. I like what I do. I like creating the stuff I create. I create stuff that I enjoy that I want to play. That's what I create. That's why I create it. I don't think Paizo would create the same things I create. I don't think they create the same way I create it. I don't think they could, hustle it like I do. So it's like I don't begrudge them, but at the same time, I understand we're different. We have different motives. We have different reasons for doing it. For them, this is an actual business. This is how they generate funds. This is how they pay their bills. This is a side gig for me that I enjoy, that gets my creative side out and my creative juices flowing. I get it. I totally understand it, and I go from that perspective. So I've got to respect the hard work they're doing, and you have to, because they do a lot of work with a lot of few people and freelancers. I think they do a great job for a company. That they're not a huge company. They're not a huge company, but at the same time, it's like, I don't use the word cut staff, but I might cut staff because when you got the reason that you got to have a lot of products coming out, you got to pay for a lot of staff. If you could cut your staff a little bit or change them, you could change people from being full-time people to maybe freelancers. Things change. That could help in a more positive ways. And that could help a little restructuring. I think also Paizo needs to break out of the WotC model, because WotC followed a model that was very solid for them, and it's important to have it in place. But I think they're at the time that, okay, what's the future going to be like? How are they going to be different? Are they going to get more into digital stuff? Are they going to find ways to get into digital stuff? Not just, video games, but digital stuff for tabletop. Are they going to break into board games? Are they going to break into even more card games? There's so many options for them. And I think they do a good job, getting people interested, getting them involved, getting people excited. And I will give them an incredible piece of props that I don't always do, but I think I should do it more often, but it's true. Their concept of diversity is probably one of the better ones I've seen for companies. I mean, look, I'm just gonna break this off. Maybe y'all didn't know this. I'm African American. Maybe you didn't notice my lovely brown skin. This is not a tan. Yes, I do live in South Florida, but this is not a tan. They actually go out of their way to make iconics that look like me. It's not a big thing for most people, but it is an important thing, because when I play a game and I sit at a table and I look around the table, I usually don't see a lot of people look like me. I mean, let's just call it like it is. There's just not a lot of kids who are African American and Hispanic, people of color, get the access to play the game, and I'd love to get more people involved. I think that's a good thing. I think that it is primarily a game played by white kids. I got involved because I like science fiction. I was kind of geeky. I said, "What's this D&D thing? Ooh, this thing's cool," and I become a fan for life. And now I make products for it. The products I make, I specifically go out of my way to make sure that I can show diverse people in their products. And I think Paizo does a great job doing that too. I think it's smart. It's a smart long-term play. It's a smart present-day play. And it's a positive thing. Look, I've never ever felt, and I think I've mentioned this before too, I've never ever sat down at a role-playing game and ever felt discriminated against, ever. Now, I know some women who sat down in games and felt very discriminated against. This is my experience. I have not. I have not. So I think I've had a positive experience. Not everybody can say that, but I think as a publisher and someone who's supposed to be, at least an emissary to spread the word of how good role playing is, it is my job to show how positive it can be. And I think we can do positive things there. So, that's it. I think Paizo has got that down pat. I think they have got a really good knack of showing that not everybody's the same. And that's cool, because there's some cool ideas. I mean, even with Neo Exodus, prime example, when I was doing our iconics, which I think, and I've said it before, every third-party company, doesn't matter who you are, should do iconics and make them fit to your personal ethos. We were doing our Ranger, and we based our Ranger off of a Zulu. And I think, hey man, point blank, that's awesome. A Zulu Ranger doesn't have as much armor. He's gonna have a short assegai spear. Gonna give him a shield. It's just a different look, and that made it exciting to me. And when people saw it, they were like, "Wow, that's pretty exciting." Actually, Randy gives me a question: how do we get greater diversity and ethnicities in our hobby? Gen Con was a sea of white. You know what? You got to find a way to open up. You got to find something that people would be interested in. You got to find games that people can play, and really, everything's about exposure. Everything's always about exposure. The more you expose people to cool things, the more stuff they'll like. Look, there are tons of guys that I know who are black who are playing, Destiny. They play video games. Video games is probably the first step into our world that they'll see. I think as games get better and better, you'll see stuff change over. You'll see, and it's also it's at the top level too. The mindset has to be: I'm going to show people who are dark skinned, who don't look like me, who are different, sexual orientations than me, or relationships than me. And I'm going to put them in the book, and I'm going to put them in positive light. That's all it is. If you're not sure about a character, this is something I learned a long time ago from Chuck Dixon, the infamous Chuck Dixon, who's written comics for DC. It's like, look, you take a character, you create the character, but you don't put a sex to it. You just create the character, all the cool things about them, the relationship, and then you decide what the sex is going to be and what they're going to look like. Make them a blank slate, make them really cool, and now I'm going to make this relationship. This person has a wife, we'll make a female. Just make a female, or go against the typical grain. Let me give you a prime example that I think worked well, and I think even Paizo's done a little bit of this. So I'll at least talk about mine. When we did our anti-paladin, traditional anti-paladin, very, very sharp, big metal, I didn't want to do that. I wanted something very iconic, but not what you'd expect to see. So I did a Scottish warrior, this red head with a shield, and she's our anti-paladin, and she does not look like any other anti-paladin you've ever seen before. And that's how you got to present it. That's how it has to be. You have to take something that people know and give them something that looks unique and interesting. And Paizo does a great job doing that. The investigator is one of my favorite pieces of art that I really like that look, because the class is very, very investigator. It's like it's supposed to be. It's like, yes, I have a cool weapon in my sword cane. It's like that's that kind of stuff. They pick the right look and feel for their characters, and it comes off very well with the artwork they do. And I think that's part of it. I think that's what makes Paizo an incredibly strong company. I think Paizo, has done a lot of right things. I think selling direct is a good thing for them. I think doing Pathfinder Society is a good thing for them. I think selling PDFs is a good thing. I think approaching third party and supporting was a good part of thing. I think they have done everything they can to just really go crazy and make us as publishers better, point blank. Just they focused on that. They've got it down to a science. So boom, I am very happy about that. I think that's awesome. So I want to see more of that. That also being said, I don't want to drown in books every month and releasing products. I don't want to have to feel that there's like power creep every time. I wish it'd be more diverse. I wish it'd even be more diverse. I would like to see more diversity. I'd like to see more diversity in the staff. I would like to see that. If your staff looks like you, if everybody on your board looks like you, you failed. Just think of it that way. I think that is only helpful to tell better stories. You want to tell stories about different things. Give people stories that you wouldn't expect they'd be able to write or be involved with. I'll tell you, this is kind of a tangent, but you'll get this. One of my favorite shows, I've always said, is The Wire. Everybody knows I love The Wire. I'm a huge fan of The Wire. I promote it to everybody. It's a great show. If you don't know what The Wire is, find it online, watch it. It'll be the best thing you ever watch. I kid you not. It's the best piece of TV ever made. No, I'm not being facetious. No, I'm not joking. I could watch The Wire every day for the rest of my life. No joke. Because I love it so much. The Wire, if you did not know, was not written by black people. It was by two white guys. And, really one white guy, but another guy was helping out. David Simon wrote a lot of it. And David Simon, creator, he is an awesome, awesome writer. And he writes about stuff that I think a lot of people can relate to. And I think what helped make it so realistic, he got involved with people in Baltimore and all the stuff, the cops, the newscasters, the schools. And he really got to the core of the people. And then when he was writing The Wire, he put some of these real people in these situations and puts the guys who are similar to that. I mean, once again, if you've never seen The Wire, if you've never seen The Wire and you're watching my show, you're going to make me cry because everybody knows The Wire is awesome. Awesome. One of the most interesting characters ever built on The Wire was Omar. The gay stick-up man that people were terrified of. And the only character who didn't swear in the show, a lot of people don't realize that, never swore in the show, and they also had a code they followed. So, diversity, cool stuff. Just keep focusing on that. It's a thirsty night. I'm talking a lot tonight. So yeah. So Paizo is a third-party company. Don't kid yourself. Paizo is a strong third-party company. Paizo is a good third-party company. And Paizo should tell you the most important thing. If Paizo was a third-party company and has done so well that they've advanced to be a premier, let's see, number two, the number two guy in the space, you can do that. You can do the same thing. And people are like, oh, it's not possible. Shut your pie hole. You can do it. It just takes focus, takes hard work, and you got to be, got to be good. Got to be good. It doesn't even have to be great. It'll be good. It'll be good every time you come with good. People go, wow, I really enjoyed that. Wow, I really enjoyed that. That's like my, I want people to say that about my products. Wow, I really enjoyed it. That was a cool product. I really appreciate that. So that's what you got to do. That's the focus. All right, it is 9:35. I've got to go because I've got to watch my show tonight. Now I got to put it here because I just want to talk about it. If you like this show, I always suggest people to check out. There's all kinds of cool business shows on TV. One of my favorite TV shows coming on again called The Profit. There's a lot of great ideas of just thinking and business in this show. If you've never seen it, I can't recommend it enough. It is a great show to watch. It is highly informative, and I think a lot of people will be very appreciative to see. Can't do that. We'll be very appreciative to see it. I think that once you see it and you understand what's going on, you'll even find some stuff you can use, which I have found stuff on the profit to use. So there you go. Check it out. I'll leave it in the show notes, of course. The show notes are below here on Facebook and on YouTube. They'll be here also on YouTube. So I'm gonna get that stuff done tonight. Isn't this amazing? This is some good stuff. I love this. I love this job. Talking to people about what I love is always good. Having fun. All right, tomorrow will be comic book day. I don't know if I'm going to buy anything tomorrow. I haven't seen anything that's really got me excited. Maybe I'll complain about some bad choices by Marvel and maybe some ideas some more stuff I'm talking about. You never know with me. Thursday, I have not signed up anyone to speak on Thursday, so it probably will be most likely a catch-up show. I'm trying to set people up for September since everybody's, it's kind of short notice. But I'm going to sit down and probably see if I can get some people to come on, talk to me, get some feedback, make Thursday night our interview show. So if you're interested, also, tell me about people suggest people. I'm always open. Suggest that you send to me directly on Facebook here, or you go to my Google account, my Gmail account. Does everybody know my Gmail account? My Gmail account is lmpjr007@gmail.com. If you want to find me anywhere, usually it's under LMPJR007. So just look for that. It's me. There's nobody else but me. So I'm done. Oh, before I forget, Alex, thank you for the comment about the Zulu Ranger. Yeah, it has a badass picture. Came front on that. It's an awesome picture. Awesome picture. Totally cool. All right, everybody. I'm going to get out of here, watch my show, put the stuff up, and update everything. Once again, thank you for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. Oh, and as always, swing by YouTube. Join our subscriptions. We need subscriptions. Very, very important. I know a lot of you have signed up. Thank you so much. I think we're only 18 or 19 away from 200. So I'm trying to get to 200. That'd be totally awesome. Something we can maybe get through the summer. But if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We were hoping it happens. So tell your friends. I hope you all, if this is your first time, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you come back tomorrow. We'll talk about some more fun stuff. All right, everybody. Talk to you later.